So today we have some new update information in Greenville that could actually hint towards a pretty soon update release date. I would like to emphasize that none of this is actually confirmed, but based on what we've seen in the past before, this does seem like a high possibility. Anyways, before we do get into today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe as we are on the road to 17.1k subscribers. As always, it would be greatly appreciated. And for those guys who want to join my filming crew, make sure to join my Discord server in the description below in order to have a chance at participating in some of my future videos. But anyways, let's get straight into it. So recently in the Greenville Discord server, a lot of people were actually made aware of some news that the tester applications actually reopened. So as you guys can see here, a message was put down by Barker saying, "We are currently looking for new QA testers, apply here. You will only be contacted if you pass. Do not ask about the status of your application. Only users with the member role may apply to be considered." And what it says here is Greenville tester application. This form is to find out whether you'd be a good tester for Greenville or not. Remember to be honest on all answers and elaborate when you can, as these two things will go a long way. Be sure to read all the questions and the descriptions of those questions, because in some of them they'll require specific details, and failure to provide those details will result in you not being selected. And basically it just asks you a few questions here regarding becoming a tester for Greenville. And essentially what happens if you get accepted is you'll be invited to the Greenville private testing group, which in return will give you access to the Greenville testing server. Obviously right now for everyone it is private. However, when it gets really close to the update, like I'm talking a day or two before, they do actually tend to open this for testing. And you might say, well, Shard, if the testing server isn't even open yet, then how does that mean that the update is possibly coming soon? And the reason why I say that is because that typically the only reason why they open up tester applications is because obviously they need people to test the updates. And they almost never open these applications if the update isn't soon, as once again, like I said, they only open it when they actually require testers, which is when updates are getting ready to release. Even more proof to back this up is that a few months ago I actually made a video about how you can apply for the Greenville testing server, and then 2 days after I made this video the update came out. And obviously that's not to say that the update is coming out in 2 days from now, as it is always a different amount of time, but that does prove that updates do typically come out pretty soon after they open the applications, or at least once they have enough people who have applied for it and meet the threshold of the amount of testers that they actually need. Also, I'm sure as most of you guys have probably noticed, two YouTubers recently, the Conman and Frigionaire, have actually made unreleased car reviews, which once again, as we all know, is something that doesn't really happen when updates are still far away from releasing, as the only reason why devs actually let us do these is one, to obviously review the update cars that are coming out, but also two, to create hype for the updates before they drop. And there's almost never been a time where YouTubers have actually reviewed unreleased cars when the update is still like 3+ weeks away from release, for example. And this is usually a pretty surefire way to know if the update is actually getting ready to release or not. As we all know now as well, it has been over a month since the last like decently big update. Even then, the last actual update wasn't really that big. Obviously we did get the New Year's update, but that doesn't really count, to be honest, since they only really added one vehicle, and it was more or less just a patch to add the New Year's ball drop, which they always do anyways. But even then, it's been a month since that update too, and typically that's roughly around the amount of time that we wait for new updates to drop. Obviously with fictional cars coming into play, updates have been taking longer to release than they used to, but usually we still don't have to wait much longer, and I heavily doubt that it'll be another month before the next update drops. And as I'm sure most of you guys probably know by now as well, we have recently gotten a lot of new news regarding the update, whether that's been new features or new vehicles. There has honestly just been a lot of stuff stacking up here, and a lot more than we usually get in my opinion, which even though this doesn't always indicate that the update is soon, typically once we get to having this much leaks, the update usually drops pretty soon after. Like, I mean, for example, we've had new buildings that have been posted, including a possible Just Buy remodel. We've also obviously had a lot of different vehicles that have been posted as well as of recent, which a lot of people have been super hyped for. Additionally, for those of you guys who saw one of my recent videos, a new feature was actually announced, which although it isn't confirmed to come next update, it could. And just all of that stuff in general typically indicates a pretty soon update release date. Additionally, recently as well, we have gotten a lot of different devs driving around in roleplay servers with unreleased cars, which although we do typically see quite frequently, as of recent, I feel like we have been seeing this a lot more. And although this itself doesn't really depict what the update release date could be, the fact that so many devs are driving around these unreleased cars means that there are a lot of vehicles that are ready to come to the game, which is always a really, really good sign. So to answer everyone's questions as for when the update is actually coming out, for now, we don't really know. But based on all the things that I said in today's video, it is pretty obvious to me that it is getting pretty close to release. And although I don't 100% take my word for it, I doubt we're going to be waiting another 2 weeks or so for the update to drop. And for the most part, I'm pretty sure that most of the update is probably ready to be launched. And at this point, for the most part, what they're going to be doing is obviously finishing off things that they still might want to add. Also fixing bugs and stuff, obviously, which usually is quite time consuming. And then obviously with the testing applications reopening, also people actually having to test the update, which also usually takes a pretty unprecedented amount of time, but typically not too long though. And considering that Greenville probably doesn't want to wait another month for the update to come out, I'm guessing they'll probably be scrambling to get it out pretty soon, hopefully. But as the update does get closer to release, we should hopefully see more and more information regarding it, which should be pretty interesting, as this update is probably set to be a pretty big one, because obviously, as I showed previously, there is stuff like new buildings and also a ton of new vehicles that are planned to come to the game, and features that are hopefully coming next update. And usually obviously updates like these do take quite a while to come out, but considering that we've already gotten so much information on them, and a lot of these things, including the vehicles, are actually already finished, it is honestly a really good sign. And shout out to Neon for this because he actually found the brand new BMW in-game. As you guys can see, there is actual footage of it driving as well. And this thing is extremely fast and it is also extremely detailed. Based on that roof alone, I mean, this thing is crazy. Especially for a fictional vehicle, I didn't expect them to be this detailed this soon. So honestly, some pretty cool stuff and I'm very excited to see what the update actually brings us. I definitely think that this will be the biggest update that we've gotten since Fictional Cars came out. And although I would definitely like to see more frequent updates after this one, which I definitely think is a possibility, I'm honestly not too mad in this case at least that they have taken a bit longer to release it, because now they've actually given themselves time to create a good amount of fictional vehicles, and it overall just helps them put more detail into them, and obviously increases the amount of them that they can add, which is all really good stuff for the future of the game. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think about this update in the comments below. A lot of people have had different theories on when it could possibly release, and what it could possibly bring to the game, so I'm definitely interested to hear all of that stuff. I'm honestly really excited for it, as I'm not gonna lie, even though the recent updates have been alright, a lot of them have been extremely small. Obviously, this is primarily because developers are still getting used to making fictional vehicles full time now, and obviously since for the most part they can't use blueprints anymore, they do have to freehand them now, in return making it take a lot longer. So honestly, this is probably one of the only times that I'll ever say that I'm actually kind of glad that they've taken time on the update, since at least now we'll actually have a lot of new cars to drive around, and it won't just be like 2 or 3 cars that most people aren't even going to use anyways, and I know that a lot of the community is going to be happy to see that as well. I'm also excited for the features that we're hopefully going to be getting next update too, especially with the daily rewards feature. That thing is going to change the game forever, and all of this stuff is just going to make the game so much more enjoyable for everyone, especially since now it won't take people as long to make money as it used to, and yeah, it's all just good news. There's also recently been a lot of positive feedback regarding Fictional Cars, which is definitely nice to see, because as most of you guys probably know, when they were first announced, there was a lot of negative feedback, unfortunately, but as they started rolling out more and more, most people actually started to grow to like them, which is definitely a great sign, and personally, I quite like a lot of them as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Once again, we are on the road to 17.1k subscribers. It would be greatly appreciated as always. And for those guys who want to join my filming crew, make sure to join my Discord server in the description below in order to have a chance at participating in some of my future videos. Also, before we do end today's video, for those guys who are wondering how to join my filming crew, since a lot of people get confused with how to do it, once you've joined my server and verified your account, you simply go over to applications, and then you will see right here Shard's filming crew applications. Then right here you simply just fill out a few questions, which are not very hard whatsoever, and honestly it is very easy to pass this application, and it will give you guys a super high chance of partaking in some of my future videos. And then essentially you just have to wait until your application's ready, then you can go over to application results, and then you will see if you passed here. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.